for navigating change is one that shows up in the natural world and in communities, and it's that of disturbance and recovery. Think of a forest. It's a living ecosystem that is bursting with all kinds of life. And then think of a forest fire. One would think that the sheer destructive power of a forest fire would eliminate all of that life. It's certainly an act of disturbance in the size and scope of that fire, as well as whether or not it's controlled or contained or wild and uncontrolled. These will determine the impact of that disturbance. And yet what we know is that forests somehow have an innate ability to heal after this kind of devastation. It usually happens over 4 stages where dormant seeds under the soil shoot up into new trees, and they grow. And as they grow and revitalize the canopy, new saplings follow underneath. And after many years, there is once again a healthy mix of trees of different age and stage. Communities somehow possess the same innate ability to heal from devastation and tragedy and disturbance. The same can apply to churches and organizations, but the possibility for healing and restoration, I would contend, is magnified when helped along by a God whose heartbeat and impulse is for restoration. Churches are often thrown into transition by the introduction of disturbance, the sudden loss of a pastor or a key leader, a change of circumstance that is a crushing blow to the vision of the church, moral failure that leaves the church wounded and stuck in a spiral of pain, or a succession plan gone wrong, leaving the church leaderless and without direction. What do we do in the face of disturbance that leaves us reeling? This metaphor of disturbance and recovery is a kind of a cycle. It repeats itself over and over again in all the systems around us. And it shows up in the scriptural story too. Consider the words in Jeremiah 1 of the prophet's vocation and appointment to uproot and tear down, to demolish and destroy, to build and to plant. There's some really rich and evocative language here of both manufacturing and agrarian worlds. Disturbance invites us to tear down and demolish, but it also beckons us to build something new. The gift of disturbance is that it can often help us build something beyond mere repair. So instead of preserving old systems that do not help us thrive, we are given the opportunity to build something new and life-giving. A neighbor of mine tells the story of his old barn that burned down some years ago, and using the same foundation, they built a new barn on it. And now that barn loft is a place of neighborhood gatherings, shared meals, animation, and joy. Disturbance also invites us to uproot and demolish, and it also beckons us to plant something new. Cultivation is an act of hope. Getting our hands in the soil and planting something new is to invest in the future. We also see this carried through and epitomized in the life of Jesus. Good Friday functions as a kind of disturbance, especially to those first friends and followers of Jesus. Recovery is what follows after Holy Saturday. Easter comes, and with it, new life and resurrection. Somehow the whole thrust of Easter, from death to resurrection, with its full range of emotions rooted in both loss and celebration, somehow these propel the whole story forward, and it leads to incredible things. When disturbance hits, it's hard to see the hope or the potential. That's precisely when we need to ground ourselves in the reality of this metaphor. Often, disturbance doesn't just lead to recovery, it leads to the flourishing of new ideas that are better for us. And after the forest fire subsides and these seeds come up as new saplings, there is a plethora of new growth. The old tree canopy is gone, and the possibilities for new growth are endless.